Welcome to Creepin' It Real. I am Judah. Let's talk about the 1994 sci-fi horror known as The Puppet Master. Now, don't misplace that article because we're not talking about Puppet Master with the little teeny murderous puppets. We are talking about The Puppet Master, based off the book of the same name that came out in, I think, 51, if I remember correctly. Let's check out this trailer and let's get to nitpicking. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, this was just a mid-of-the-road movie. I will not watch it again. There was some fun practical effects in there. There was also some very laughable practical effects in there. I'm going to go right in the middle. I'm giving this a 5 out of 10. I'll never revisit it again. So let's check out this trailer.
An unexpected guest has arrived.
Something unusual was reported entering our atmosphere last night.
And soon, everyone's life will be transformed.
I got to tell you, I'm kind of miss the narrator voiceovers for trailers. I feel like that we've gone away from that. Am I wrong? I feel like that's for a real thing, that we really don't have that much in trailers anymore. But I kind of miss that movie voice guy.
Because this guest isn't just visiting.
Still moving.
What the hell is that?
A visitor, I presume.
It's looking for a home.
The probe penetrates the brain while these hooks lock into the spinal column.
Using us like puppets.
We're being manipulated.
They're capable of transmitting not just intelligence, but memory.
We're only human after all.
Stop alarm!
Secure the building.
Security!
1 day, 4,000. 2 days, 16,000. In 2 weeks, there would be
More than 250 billion.
You can't.
I keep looking for spots to pause this and have something to say about this trailer, but there really isn't anything. I mean, it's very straightforward. This trailer does make feel more like an action film. And on that topic, there are some shootout scenes that are just laughable. I mean, they're just absurd. Some of the action in this movie is just so over the top stupid. Spoilers are going to be occurring in this. The one thing I want to talk about is something that I noticed and thought was kind of funny, but at the same time makes a little sense because this kind of thing actually happens in real life. We have these government officials that are aware of this alien invasion, and they're trying to keep it under wraps and also stop it. Now, these aliens, they attach to the back of people. They kind of look like stingrays with a extended tentacle off the back, and they attach to the back of the people, and they insert something into our brains, and they take over our nervous system and control us and everything like that. But they're also able to know our thoughts and so forth. So the first time this kind of happens, it happens to a small town. But one of the team members for this government, task force gets infected. They don't know it. Then they do realize it. There's this whole chase scene throughout this, government building till they capture him and they remove it. Another side note, which is weird, this is the first person that they remove one of these creatures from. Now, this guy, he's still alive, but later on, he commits suicide. And it's very strange. It's like, why did you do that? I either missed it, I didn't feel like they explained it, but then they remove it from several other people throughout the movie, and none of these people have suicidal tendencies. I mean, there's definitely some that have PTSD where they're like, you feel like, like almost like this phantom experience that the creature is still attached to them. And they have these like feelings of, being invaded. And I could understand that, having PTSD from that and like having these like, get it off of me. I get that. But why this other guy just upped and killed himself made no sense to me because they did not allude to anybody else having these kind of experiences of wanting to kill themselves afterwards. So that was very strange. Back to my first point. We have all these government officials that if one of these aliens attaches to them, they'll do everything in their power to remove it and keep the life of the person that had the alien attached to it. But any kind of normal person, any Joe Schmo off the street, there's no second thought, no hesitation. They will just blow your effing head off. Oh, that's Bob that owns the corner diner. Oh, who cares? Shoot him. That's my son that hates me. This would be a government official. You know, this is my son that does drugs, has a laptop filled with all kind of child photos that are inappropriate. Let's make sure we save his life at all costs. I don't care how many regular Americans out there you have to kill. Get that loser son back here who's making deals with foreign entities, and let's make sure that we save his life. I say that in jest, but in all seriousness. So they will go to the heart of the hive of this alien infestation to save one government official, mow down all kinds of innocent people who are under the effects of these aliens. No cares whatsoever. That was quite frustrating to me. Mostly, if it wasn't so laughable, what frustrated me, as the point I already made, is this is what happens in real life with our government. Literally, you and I would be going to prison for the shit that these people get away with. Sorry, I did not mean to go off on a tangent about this. Let's get back to the trailer. Move on.
Move unless they let you.
We've lost a town, now we've lost an army.
Danny?
They're using children?
Cannot think of them any longer as children.
You can't scream until they lick you.
I warned you.
You can't escape when the enemy is within you.
All I know is really you. If it's not, you know what to do.
I would like to point out that the black actor said, "How do I know if it's really you?" This is the question. How do I know if it's really you? What was his answer? If it's not, you know what to do. I'm sorry, that wasn't the question. The question wasn't, if it's not you, what do I do? The question was, how do I know it's really you? You'll know what to do if it's not. Not helpful. Not helpful. Can you answer the question I asked? Because I was going to shoot your ass if you were infected. But how do I know if you're infected? That's the big question here. Thank you.
Donald Sutherland.
Get it off him! Get it off!
The Puppet Masters.
There you go. Just an average movie. Just an average sci-fi movie. If you do any kind of reading, which I got to say, I was very bummed at the lack of any kind of drama behind the scenes. It was just a very straightforward movie. From what I read, the budget was $15 million, only made like $8.6 million back. So from that perspective, it was kind of a failure. I read that this was a Disney production. I don't remember. What did it say? I thought it said Hollywood production. I don't know. Anyway, so from something that I read, had some kind of ties with Disney. And they wanted it to be, I mentioned that it was based off a book, and Disney wanted something that would be more audience or normie-centric, which is why the plot from what I read diverged from the novel, but I've never read it, so I couldn't even begin to say. Lots of comparisons to Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but from also what I read, this book, The Puppet Master, came out well before Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So those kind of arguments you will see online. Some people be like, this came out before Invasion of the Body Snatcher, so suck it. I don't have a horse in this race whatsoever. There were a lot of goofiness. I already mentioned the one, but I think I'm going to have to give it a pass because, as I already said, this would happen in real life. Mowing down everyday Joes just so they can save one government official. That's the reality. So I got to give that one a pass. The action scenes were not acted well. There was my very first kind of annoyance with this movie was this. They pick up on some kind of landing. They go to investigate it. Some of the people are acting weird, but nobody really picks up on it except for this woman. Hang on, let me see. What's her name? Her name is Julie Warner. She plays Mary Sefton in the movie. Now, I'm not going to lie. I think Julie is an attractive woman, but she's the first person to say anything about the way that these people are acting. And why? Why does she suspect that there's something up with these people? Because they're not checking her out. Yeah. There's definitely something wrong with that guy. One, he either has an alien parasite attached to him that is keeping him from trying to look down my blouse, or two, he is gay AF. I mean, that's your only two options. He's definitely not a guy that has morals and tries to respect women. There's only two options: gay AF or some kind of alien parasite. Only two options. So that was funny to me and a little frustrating that she was like, clearly there's something wrong because they are not checking out my bod. I mean, have you seen me? So that kind of made me laugh. Also, as I mentioned, these aliens just look like stingrays. And this isn't kind of a new thing. Now, I did mention there's that argument of some people say that this is just a ripoff of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. When I was watching this, because it came out in 94, I remembered an episode from X-Files where there's a slug. It was really weird. Honestly, way more creepy than this movie. The episode is called Roadrunner, I think. And it was in season 8 of X-Files. And I'm a fan of X-Files, but let's all be honest, okay? Though I do want to hear from you who disagree with this. Once David Duchovny exited and he was only doing like 1 or 2 episodes, it really went downhill. Let's just be honest. I mean, granted, the actor who played Doggett, who was the from Terminator 2, loved him because of Terminator 2, but the seasons just kind of... Anyway, so David Duchovny was not in this episode. Let me see. Hang on just a second. Okay, it says it was the 4th episode of the 8th season. It was 165th episode. It was called The Roadrunner. Anyway, there's a small town like in Utah or something that has some kind of a weird slug type creature that they attach to the back of somebody. And this small cult believed that it was the second coming of Christ. They're going to attach it to Scully. And Doggett comes and saves her. But it was very creepy. I remember feeling very uncomfortable as they had Scully strapped down to a bed and them placing it and it like burrowing under her skin to attach to her spinal cord. Very, very icky and creepy. Anyway, so I'm watching this, The Puppet Master, and this episode pops into my head. And I'm like, well, the X-Files was in the 90s. Maybe, there's some kind of crossover or tie-in. Maybe somebody got an influence. Like I said, this did come out in 2000, November 26th of 2000. The X-Files episode came in. So this was well past The Puppet Master. So I can't make that connection. It just reminded me of it. this is not a new subject, kind of a weird alien thing attaching to the spinal cord and, using humans as a host. But the practical effects of these stingray type aliens wasn't horrible, but immediately I'm thinking stingray. Except every one of these stingrays was like immediately equipped with the hook shot from Zelda. And it was not terrifying. It was freaking hilarious. Check this out. Tell me this is not the hook shot from Zelda. Also, how stupid is that? How stupid is that? That was so, for something that's an R-rated sci-fi horror, that little spinning around on the ceiling fan was so dumb. So yes, every one of them was equipped with the hook shot. Very funny. Very, very funny. Also, there's this weird moment. So there's some kind of like, let me go back. This dude right here, the first time he meets that chick that alien just tried to attach to her face, you can see that there's this immediate like attraction, and there's some kind of weird like unnecessary romance that occurs throughout the movie. I just caught myself and I said it was unnecessary, and it really is. But I was being swayed by other people's opinions when I say that, because when I watched the movie, it didn't bother me at all. It didn't propel anything. Well, I guess it did somewhat legitimize why they were going into the heart of the hive to save her, because, I mean, the guy hadn't, made out with her yet, so clearly he wanted that chance before she died. So this bro right here, he gets one of these aliens attached to him. They capture him. They're interrogating him. And this alien using this guy. Oh, also Independence Day was another kind of thing when they grabbed the doctor and was using him to speak. Yeah, and kind of in that way. Actually, the alien from Independence Day was a little more in control of the whole situation. In this one, we definitely have the upper hand, but it is threatening to kill the host. Like, if you keep causing harm to me, I'm going to kill this host. Then it gets weird. The alien makes this guy, look up at that woman who's outside of this containment field. And he's like, "Hey, Mary, you wouldn't believe the fantasies that are going on inside of this guy's head for you. Would you like to hear some of them?" And Mary's all like, "Really? Sure, I'll hear it. Tell me what's going on in this guy's brain." "Really? I didn't think you were going to actually say you wanted to hear." It was supposed to be more of a creepy thing, like make you think that he was thinking creepy things about you. But okay, let's get into this. Well, let's see. Okay, here's one fantasy where he's like, nice candlelit dinner, Oh, here's one, walk on the beach holding hands. Are you scared yet? Are you creeped out yet about what this guy's thinking about you? Here's one. Ooh, this one involves cottage cheese and goldfish. I don't know where that's going. Let's just leave that one there. Anyway, that was odd, and I didn't really understand the point of that within the context of the movie, other than just maybe to give us all the hint that there's nothing that is hidden from these creatures, that they know everything. But why it is that they felt they needed to take it in that direction was a little odd to me. Then there was also another weird place. They get this alien off of Broseph over here, He's having the PTSD experience, kind of freaking out. And you see this big like suction cup mark on the back where this alien was removed from him. He's in the shower. And as most people do when they're in their shower, he's naked. But they're at this facility. So you understand that this is some kind of a military base where, you know, military. I've never been into military. This is purely off of movies. I have no idea what an actual shower looks like at some kind of military base. So he's at some kind of government military base in a shower, you know, kind of freaking out about this, kind of talking to himself, saying things like, get it off, get it off. And he's kind of curling up into this fetal position, laying in the shower. But this chick, why the hell is she in there? She just walks in like somehow this is acceptable. Watching this man in the shower, just standing there, watching him shower. Not like there was some kind of, hey, let's keep an eye out on this guy. It seems like he's having some mental trauma. Let's make sure he doesn't hurt himself. And we're here to support him. It's your turn to watch him as we take care of other things like going and randomly shooting innocent civilians that have these aliens attached to them. So there's nothing like that. It's just she's weird. She wanted to, you know, sneak a peek of this guy. I mean, she heard that he wanted to have a nice candlelight dinner with her. She needed to make sure he had the right package to even accept that kind of a thing. So then she grabs a towel and she goes into the shower with him and she's like comforting him. I can accept all of this. Like, it's awkward, but I can somewhat accept it, other than the fact, why was she even there in the first place? And she's kind of holding him, wrapped him up in a towel, and she's like, it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay. Then it turns into some kind of weird, suddenly halfway almost making out, and I was like, oh, this is about to get real. It doesn't. Any second it could, but suddenly she is like, what am I doing? Wait a minute. This is like non-consensual. This man doesn't really know what's going on. He's in a lot of pain and suffering. I cannot take advantage of him at this moment. It was awkward. You'd have to watch for yourself. Leave your comments if you've seen this movie. I'd like to know what your thoughts are on that. I also saw some stuff where people were like kind of disappointed on some of the stuff that was left out of the movie. Apparently the book had a lot of nudity in it, and it doesn't necessarily, I haven't read the book, but it wouldn't necessarily have to be sexual, because a lot of the easiest way to know if somebody has one of these aliens attached is if their shirt is off. So I can only assume that maybe one of the first ways that they were combating this was, okay, everybody has to have their shirts off so that we can make sure that we don't have one of these things attached to them, which would lead to nudity, though I don't know why women would have to take their bras off for that. But that's neither here nor there. That's just something I read. So I'm landing on a 5 out of 10. You could pass, but also, you know, if you got nothing else to watch, it wasn't the worst waste of time I've ever experienced. Give me your thoughts. If you have any suggestions for movies I should watch, leave them in the description below. Description? No. Leave them in the comments below. Also, I would love to hear your thoughts on this movie, because I love interacting with you and I appreciate you. If you made it this far, you're a champ. You get a gold star. You're an okay person in my book. Reach out, introduce yourself. I am Judah. This has been Creepin' It Real. I'll see you later.